Hi, my name is Liz, and I was going to share my lady on the bus story with you today, which is basically my 9-9 story, so the ninth day of the ninth month. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that year in a minute, but it was square root day, and my 9-9 story is sort of the prerequisite for telling you my 9/11 story, and then some other things. So I didn't dress up and make myself look amazing or try to do something so that you would be impressed by how I look. In fact, I'm trying to kind of take myself out of it. This isn't easy for me to talk about, but it is something that everybody has wanted me to talk about. And since it's been many years since it's happened, it's important for me now to just kind of birth it. On the ninth day in the ninth month, in 1981, I actually saw a very similar thing to what you might say nowadays was like Men in Black. And actually, when Men in Black came out, I was really happy because it answered a lot of questions. And I think that movie with Will Smith and all the different types of those movies have helped me a lot. And I know we're on the way to understanding other cultures and other time and space cultures and how our time and space is working. Time and space is all relative. Time and space can mean different things to different people. If you read books by Einstein, he will tell you the theory of relativity, and he will also tell you different stories about how to research how other cultures live. I live in the United States of America. It might as well be the United States of insanity right now. There's so many people acting like they're possessed by some evil demon. It's not a joke, it's real. And, on the ninth day of the ninth month, when I was just a very young child, I was starting my high school career in Marin County. And a lot of my friends don't even know this story. They think they know me, but they have never listened to this story, even though I've been very public with it as a child. I talked to teachers and I talked to psychologists. I went to a psychologist at Kaiser for months because of my mother insisted that I do it after this event. So I went to a Catholic school. I took a test. I was one of the highest scoring people to take a test, but we went to this school called Marin Catholic. It was located in Kentfield, California. It was an elite school, and I really thought that I was going to go to this Ivy League school and graduate there and get this amazing education. We even started school early that year. I had had a whole summer living with my father in this beautiful place called Marin County. I don't know if you've ever been there. I hope it's not burned up in our California fires. Almost everything is on fire in California today, and it's just another time and space issue that I have. So I was living in a town that was kind of farther away too from where I went to school, so I had to be driven to school. It was pretty far. It was a private school. This one day in September, it was very hot and sunny and clear, and I was told that I wasn't going to be able to take a ride home. I would have to take a bus home. And it was the first time, I think, in my life that I literally couldn't walk myself home. I was used to that. I am a latchkey child. I have walked myself every day to school since I was in kindergarten. No one ever took me to school or drove me until this school. So that particular day was an odd day. It was always an odd day for me because I worked at a school. I was the only person that ever worked. I was in this cage in this private school, and the kids just laughed at me. They treated me pretty poorly, but I'm from Berkeley. I wasn't worried. I just really felt sorry for them for being rude to me and caustic and things. That was really weird. It was a hard time, but that day I left my school in my Catholic school skirt and my shirt and my clogs that you had to wear, because if you didn't wear clogs, you were ostracized, which I was ostracized anyway for not having the right color clogs, because all the rich kids had control over everything. They were so rude. It was awful. Anyway, I remember just feeling super alone and walking to the bus stop, and this huge bus came up to the area. It's just down the street from Kentfield, sort of east, it was a double bus. I used to call it the Caterpillar bus So I walked onto the bus. In Marin County, you pay first. Those buses were $2 when I was in the 80s, which they were like 15, 20 cents in Berkeley. So it was no joke. You paid first, and you didn't get on without paying. So I paid my money, and then I sat in the back, sort of by that opening where the bus was. We drove, and it was going to be more than an hour for me to take the bus home. We drove all the way on the freeway. We went through Corte Madera, and we went through all sorts of places, and we ended up at 4th and Heatherton in downtown San Rafael. 4th and Heatherton was the bus station at that time. It is no longer located there. 4th and Heatherton is underneath the overpass as well, and I always think about that because that overpass is really, useful, and that it was the bus station was right below it. So let's just say this is me, and I'm on the bus here, and I'm inside the bus, and I'm looking out the window of the bus, just like you would be looking out the window of your car, and you would look across the street, and it's a double street. And as I look across the street on this hot, September 9th day, I see a woman, and she is dressed all in black, and she's got a suit on, and she's got clearly Ray-Bans, black Ray-Bans, and a briefcase, and she just looks hot and angry, and she's just pacing back and forth, and I can see her. Here she is. She's across the street, and I'm sort of the partition. There's cars. It's a very busy highway. You don't just walk. You would go to the corner. You would go to the light. You would never walk across that street. It's huge. So I see her, and then I'm over here, and I can see her from the bus, and then she just turns, and she just looks dead at me. And all I'm thinking about is, I just wish she would just go away. I'm like, how is this person even looking at me? She just looks out of place. Something's wrong. So then the bus comes and covers her up. Well, the next thing I know, she's on my bus. She didn't cross the street. She just walks on the bus, and she walks on the bus and doesn't pay. And she walks right past me, and then she gives me that if looks could kill kind of look, and sits behind me. And I'm just sitting here going, what's happening? I just saw her over there, and now she's back there. So I turn around and look, and yep, she'd be staring at me, and I was like, oh my gosh, what in the world? So I'm looking out my window, and I'm thinking to myself, this is loads of fun, and I just go, I wish she was back over across the street. And there she was. Now, you go ahead and tell me I'm crazy. You go ahead and tell me it didn't happen. It happened. It happened in broad daylight. She was over here. She was on my bus. And then she was back over here. And I was like, what? I just thought I was going to pass out. I thought I was going to throw up and pass out at the same time. So then my bus just decides it's time to go. And she pulls and pulls out. And as the driver is pulling into the area, she basically walks to the corner, stands in front of the bus, and all time stops. And I'm just standing there. I just literally close my eyes and pass out.